All right, Max. Well, yeah, great getting to chat with you, man, and very cool to see that you're, being a part of the Threads post fight ritual series. Obviously, got Michael Chandler doing it too. It was great chatting with him last week. But for you, man, like, how did this come together? Yours looks really cool, and like where it's very the previews that you've shown very cinematic, and I mentioned the surfing, really some good looks at that, man. But how did it come together, and how was it kind of being a part of this?
It was super good. I mean, my agents pitched me the idea. I guess Meta came to him, and I was in. You know what I mean? Like you said, we thing that got me was we always do countdowns for big events, and then it was like almost a countdown after the fight. I mean, everybody always care about how we look leading into the fight. I thought it was a cool idea to show people that non-fighter side of us, what we do to recover and what we got to do. What's life after fighting?
Mm,
I guess is the word I'm looking for, and the saying I was trying to say, because at the end of the day, we're still human beings. A lot of people trip out what we do. They think so we eat, live, breathe fighting or whatever it is, and it was cool to get them to see our softer sides, or our outside life, I would say.
yeah. Yeah, that's a good point about like the post fight stuff, right? Because sure, I'm sure UFC will do like some things sometimes, right? But for something that's solely focused on it, that's a little bit different. And so, was it after your last fight then for the Poirier fight when you filmed this one?
Yes, it was after the BMF title one, so it was super cool. I like the idea. I like how they came out, so I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I mean, just with threads in general, got getting active on there, and I feel like you haven't been much of a social media guy over the years, Max. So like, how's it been interacting with fans more, and kind of being a part of this movement?
I mean, being on Threads is super cool. I like it a lot. I'm getting it's a lot humans in there, a lot
Yeah,
more humans than other places. So it's just great being able to talk to people and connect to people, and just, I mean, with the video, with the little preview that we put out, and then when people was uh reacting to it or reposting it, it was super good. Super cool to talk. And I've been using Threads a lot of everything. I'm an anime fan, and a lot of people on Threads are finding out that I'm an anime fan, which is just blowing my mind because I've been a fan for years now, and it's great interacting with them over there.
have you had a specific experience with a fan that's like stood out to you? I don't want to say online because I'm sure there's plenty of great stories, but one that comes right to mind when I ask you that.
Um, you know, I mean, it's just cool to see people just not in great spots or not in
Right.
great situations, and battling their own demons per se. And just to hear that, oh, like, hey, I saw this video, or I saw this fight, or you reposted this, or you did this, or you said something like that, and it changed their life. That's what life is about. Like, turning people, making people, seeing the greener side, seeing that there is the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's the best for me. I can't really think of one, but there's a bunch that, I do a bunch of strict things. Social media is hard for me, but when I do go on social media, most of the time is letting people know that I might be doing a live stream or something. And then when guys come through and they tell me this, or if I post something and they tell me, "Oh, this is inspiring," that's what it's about. I mean, just today, walking out of the grocery store, someone said, been following your story and following, and hearing your inspirational speeches, and I picked up boxing gloves because of you, and I've been loving it, and I've been going. I wasn't in a good spot, but now at the gym, I feel better of myself. So it's just great, being able to be that hope for some people. That's all we can hope for at the end of the day.
Yeah, man, that's amazing. And I gotta wonder, like, not being in that position, is it weird at first being like told you're an inspiration and realizing like I guess I am doing things that maybe aren't normal or that can mean stuff to somebody? Like, what is it kind of like dealing with that at first, and like how do you handle it now?
I mean, at first it was weird.
Yeah.
Of course, at first I was 20 years old, so I thought, well,
Right.
what the hell? Hell is this guy? You know what I mean? But like I've been talking about, it's just it comes with no age.
Right.
Like old people come up to me and tell me I'm an inspiration, or older people. I don't want to say old because I'm getting up there in age, but older people, your grandpas come up to me and say I inspired him, or the way I inspired their their grandkids or whatever or their sons or daughters, and then they get inspired because of that. So that's a great feeling. But I mean, at first for sure when I was young, but now it comes with the job,
Yeah.
and that's what I signed up for. Everybody keep telling me, oh, what's it like being this, and what's it like taking pictures, or what's it like, having to do autographs? I'm like, man, it could be worse.
Yeah.
Nobody could be taking my pictures or autographs, and I could be in this business. So that means I'm doing my job. So at the end of the day, I always thank them.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Definitely doing something right. Man, it's interesting too because like I mentioned talking to Michael Chandler, and he mentioned something when we spoke, and then in his post-fight rituals also. But like how letting go of losses after like the lingering effects that they had, especially when he lost his undefeated streak to start out his career, that was kind of a big thing for him. Did you have to experience anything like that too when you like maybe had your first loss or a loss down the line?
I mean, I don't. It's if you ask people around me, like a lot of people around me always say like my mindset is probably the best thing on me, because
Hmm.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I could care less. I mean, losing sucks.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible losing. I hate losing, but it comes with the game, and I understand it. And I just hate when people make excuses for losses.
Mm.
And I never ever wanted to be that guy. We take it. We take them hard, but you got to move on. What's my favorite saying is what's life, what's life living in the past. If you spilt if we went grocery shopping, I spilled, say, the gallon of milk on the ground. What you gonna do, cry about the gallon of milk, or you just gonna clean it up? You know what
Right.
I mean? Like, clean it up. What you gonna do, try and put it back into the
Yeah.
gallon? No. Like, it
Some
happened
people
already.
might.
Get over, yeah, yeah, I mean, get over it. Get over it, figure out a way. Maybe go down to the road, go get a new one. But there's no reason to be, I guess, what is the word I'm using, stewing on it.
Mm-hmm.
People stew and stuff, people let it fester, and then it's like a cancer. It starts taking over you, and you don't even know. So at the end of the day, I don't care too much about it. Loss is a loss. A loss is only a loss if you take it like that. If you just continue and you're having this freaking raining cloud over your head, a loss to me is a learning. We learn. I come back better every single time, and that's what everybody should be doing. You learn from it. You freaking cry about it for 5 minutes and you move on. That's it. That's the only way you can be successful in life.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Couldn't agree more with you there. And you mentioned kind of the competitiveness. I'm curious, Max, is there anything, what outside of fighting would you say you're most competitive about?
I'm pretty competitive in anything we do. Like I mean, I'm terrible. My son and my wife is a professional surfer. My son is inspiring to be
Right.
one, so he's much better than me. But I'm still gonna compete with him. You're not gonna tell me I'm not gonna compete with me. I know, I'm years and light years away from them too. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. That's just my competitive nature. Video games. I play
Hmm.
any video game. If you give me a chance to practice it and get better, I'm gonna try and compete in it. Whatever there is with something to compete, I'll compete in. Just because that's just the way I'm wired. Some people are wired in this way to be competitive, and I'm just one of them. So anything it is, down to like being the first one to walk into the door or hold
Yeah.
the door. I'll race someone to the door to hold it open for them. That's just the type of person I am.
Love that, man. Always looking for the challenge, and it's always fun to see. So, man, I want to talk to you, Max, of course, about the next fight whenever that can come. And I know that you watched Charles Oliveira's last fight, and kind of had a reaction to that. Were you streaming when you watched that? Actually, was that, or you streamed like right after, right? So you were kind of on
Yeah,
top of
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. My stream started right after. I mean, that's the fight I want. That's the fight I want. That's the fight. That's a fight a lot of people want to see. We have history. A lot of there's not too much people right now that people are considering BMFs.
Right.
But on that very short list, on a very short list, Charles Oliveira is one of them. So, you telling me that I get to go out there and defend the BMF title again against a man who's very respected, who I have history with, and the first time that they they talk about our fight, or he talks about it as an injury or so, and whatever. So let's go figure it out. Let's figure it out then. If you believe that the first one was because of the injury, and everybody's gonna come at me, and social media is gonna come at me after this, it's light, because at the end of the day, if you guys really did your research, nothing was ever found
Hmm.
for an injury when he got released from the doctor. So at the end of the day, I would love that fight. He did great things. He actually was a champion at one point, and me getting another win over a top five guy would only be me closer to a title shot where I eventually want to be.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And that was such a weird moment. I remember when that fight ended and going through like hearing torn esophagus and all these things. And then, like you said, I feel like we found out like maybe the day after or whatever that there was actually no issue or whatever for whatever reason. But like, man, were you surprised that it didn't get ran back like almost immediately, or do you think it was because of like, all right, well, I just kind of won legit? I mean, it was so weird. How do you kind of reflect on that?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a weird time. I thought it was because we was a main event and everything. It was two top guys, but I didn't even know where our careers went after that. I can't even remember who I fought right after him. So I thought we was gonna run it back. They didn't. We went other ways, and so be it. It is what it is.
Yeah, for sure, man. And obviously, that's what the rematches are for anyway, no matter how long the gap in time. But with that in mind, man, yeah, you mentioned the lightweight title, the ultimate goal there. I mean, do you feel like that would be all you need? Is the Oliveira rematch? Like, what do you look at with the timetable and I mean the lightweight landscape? Because feels like Paddy could be next. Obviously, Armin and Hooker. It's kind of a lot of things we got to figure out. Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, there's rankings, the rank system. I don't know. The rank system to me, you can be the judge.
Yeah.
It's kind of out of whack. I don't know how I'm ranked in the pound for pound rankings higher than two guys who's in my own weight class.
Right.
That just
Right.
I'm like, how am I in the pound for pound at what am I at, 11 or something?
And then behind
And
those
then
guys at
yeah, and
lightweight.
then there's two guys, and they're both on the pound for pound ranking too, but they're both behind me.
Yeah.
And then we look at the rank that I'm actually in, and they're in front of me. So it makes no sense. I mean, and then you see guys jump up, like Charles beat a guy that was not ranked and ahead of us of
Hmm.
anything. And then he won the fight and he went up a spot in front of me, which I was like, okay, that makes totally sense. And then I saw somebody else talking about the Paddy situation where he jumped up five and he didn't even fight for a minute. So it is what it is, bro.
Yeah.
And then like yeah, with what's his name, being in the like even I mean even when I was in featherweight and I came up after the last one and I came up, I was like, I'm done with featherweight. I announced it. I told everything. And they was keeping me in featherweight for a long time.
Right.
I was
Right.
like, why you guys keep me here? I said I'm not going down there anymore. So the ranking is weird, bro. I wouldn't even look at the ranking. I would just be like, UFC is gonna do what UFC does. You need to have spectacular fights. You need to get your name out there. I felt like after the last one, maybe we could have got a shot, but there's Justin, there's Armin. They got big fights coming up. And then I know with all the, UFC loves drama,
Yeah.
and there's drama there with Patty. So at the end of the day, all you gotta do in this sport is keep winning. That's what I plan on doing. So we'll go from there.
For sure, man. Yeah, that's the one thing you can't control. So, like, it's a good point, though. I mean, mentioning Patty, like, for me, it feels like it just could be a little too soon, like in terms of maybe experience and whatnot. But like, how do you think in that regard? Would it be better for him to take his time, or you get thrown into the fire, sink or swim? Like, how do you kind of view that aspect?
I mean, we see what happens. It's fighting. At the end of the day, anything can happen. Somebody can go in there, land a clean shot. Somebody can go in there, slip, fall on. You guys both slippery. You guys fall into a submission. MMA is the most wildest sport, man. It's not black and white. It's super hard. Like there's ideas you can have, like, hey, you don't do this against this guy. You don't do that against this guy. And you can stop it as much as you like, but things can go wrong in there just because there's so many variables. In there, you can get a cut. You can get an eye poke. You can get hit with something that you didn't think was hard, but it hits you. So MMA is a weird sport, with all the experience and stuff. Experience does come to play and everything, and I agree with you. But you never count out
Right.
anybody in this sport. We saw some wild things happen here, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, for sure, man. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see what the UFC ends up going with and how everybody does. But circling back to Hawaii, though, Max, I know that what was it? Did you speak with Dana in Hawaii recently? How close are we getting to
Uh,
UFC Hawaii, man? Are we feeling like there's a more of a
I
chance these days, or?
I mean, I don't know. I don't. We don't even have a stadium that would be able to hold it. And when we did, I don't know. I personally feel like if UFC Hawaii ever does happen, I'm not gonna ever be on the card. I
Mm,
got I'm the new stadium that they're saying is gonna be done is like in like 2030 or something. That's like 5 years
okay,
from now.
jeez.
I'd be like 39. Never say never, but
Yeah.
I'm not too fond of the idea. We see what happens.
Yeah, not gonna hold the breath there. But man, I mean, speaking of Hawaii, still like I saw you met Saenchai recently, right? He came out and did a seminar
Oh
there or a
yeah,
thing. Like, dude,
yeah, yeah,
pretty
yeah.
awesome. How was that?
Oh, that was sick. I mean, that was sick. I mean, if you saw the YouTube video was super sick. I love how I do my own seminar sometime, and being able to actually enjoy someone else's seminar was cool. Seeing how he run it was great. And then just getting reminded, like there's so many techniques that I
Right.
forgot. So many techniques that you forgot. Like you train for so long, and then you just get in a groove of some stuff that you forget. Like, oh man, I knew this, or I used to do this. Like, oh, I need to bring this back. So it was super cool to talk to him and just pick his mind about stuff, and then just to see and to hear him talk, the way he talked
Hmm.
about stuff, the way he was showing the techniques. You can just see the passion in it, and it was just amazing.
Yeah. Total legend, man. Super cool to see you guys, link up like that. So fun video. Definitely recommend anybody who's watching to go and watch Max's video. But man, all right, Max. Before I do let you go, though, man, I wanted to ask you about the Poirier fight, though, the last one, because I was there for that, and great stuff. Big win for you, of course. Congrats on it again. But like, such a unique moment, I think, for so many reasons, obviously. But like, when you look back on that with the time that we've had since it, man, where do you kind of rank it in terms of like your best career moments?
I mean, it gotta be top five, maybe top three.
Hmm.
Who knows? We had so much history. I was down 0-2 against the guy. You know what I mean? I was coming as an underdog, I believe, in that fight. They were saying that he was too big, I was too small. It was counting me out because of what happened to the fight before that. At the end of the day, it is what it is, and it was a huge moment for me. It was like you almost have forgot.
Yeah.
And I had to keep doing this throughout my whole career. And I don't, I'm like getting sick of it. I'm like, man, when are you guys just gonna understand it? Like, now, a man shouldn't be defined by
Right.
one outgoing. That's just what it is. Like, if you keep going and outgoing, and I can understand if people kept going out there and the ongoing was like constant.
Yeah.
I understand it, but like, come on, guys. I mean, that situation was super huge. I mean, I had this with the Volk fights back to back. People were saying I should retire. I worked my way back. Unfortunately, didn't get my hand raised again. I should retire again. Worked my ass back off. Had the big 300 moment. Boom, went to did down, then got knocked back down. And people were saying, oh, maybe you should retire again. Come back with, deliver the fight with the BMF title again. And they all forgot. A lot of these guys. I watched Ted Lasso.
Okay,
I
great
watched Ted
show.
Lasso.
Shout
Yeah,
out to
I
Ted
loved I
Lasso.
loved Ted Lasso. I finished out, and he said this thing perfectly. Like he told it to his athletes though, and he told the athletes, what should be your favorite animal. It should be a goldfish. Be like a goldfish. And it was like, why? Because goldfish has a memory span of like 10 seconds. They just move on, right?
Yeah.
I think so. Most fans in this sport are goldfishes because they only remember whatsoever. Like, even with the whole thing, I know I'm prolonging this or going on, but even the whole thing with the Aspinall thing, with the
Yeah.
eye poke and this and that, and people saying that he was getting touched up and whatever. This thing is only going to go as long as his next fight. His next fight, he does something spectacular, no one's ever going to remember it. So at the end of the day, this sport is just meant to moments.
Hmm.
People in this sport just love moments, and if you can keep giving them moments, they're gonna love you. And then once you, I mean, look at Alex Pereira. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Great example.
Giving him moments, giving him moments, giving him moments. Lose his title. Oh my God, this and that. Blah 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 blah. Come back, give him a moment. Everybody forgets. Everybody wants to see him fight John Jones. When he first lost to Magomedov, they didn't want him to fight John Jones. Now he come back and he wins. Now what changed?
Right.
Nothing changed, you know. Like he just went out there, got a moment. So at the end of the day, you just gotta keep doing you. You gotta be like a goldfish and just keep pushing. Everybody around you being like goldfishes, so why not you?
There's a Finding Nemo quote in there, I think. Just keep swimming, right?
Yes, sir.
Keep swimming, man.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, that's great stuff, Max. So, all right, I'll let you go, man. I don't want to keep you too long here. I appreciate the time so much. Can't wait for, whatever you got next, whether it is the YouTube videos that keep on pumping out and the streaming and whenever the next fight is, man. I wish you the best of luck with all of it. So great getting to chat with you today, sir. And, just wishing all the best going forward, man.
You too, Drake. You too, Drake. Look forward to meeting you in person or seeing you at one of the fights, brother.